All right, y'all. Here we go. Welcome to. I think this is episode 44.
Girl, we ain't even got to count no more. They'll figure
We
that shit
done. We
out.
got
You
all
either
right,
listening or you ain't.
and that's this on period. So okay, so
Yeah.
let me get. I'm gonna get this out the way right now. We are on Instagram at ladies locker underscore room. We are on Facebook
Mhm.
at LLR podcast. Ain't no sense of me mentioning Twitter because we about to come off that blue bird.
Listen.
Um, so we because we not be have to be on there much longer.
Yeah.
Once we are on a new platform, that announcement is going to come once we finalize things, and that's just that.
Right.
But for what up, sis?
Hey.
Hey. So today on today's episode, we are talking about voting, the importance
Yes.
of that, even though we got people that fuck it up every year. Or every couple of years, where it comes to midterms and then when it comes to primary
Hmm.
elections, they really fuck it up for us all. Um, they just do because you got the complainers that you complain about everything your voting could have fixed,
Right.
which is stupid,
Right.
real slow. Um, but in regard to voting,
Hmm.
you know, it's a couple of things that I would like to unpack, but I'm scared to touch them even for real because people so stupid. Is no sense of sharing information anyway because they don't abide by it. They don't listen to nothing, and they end up continually doing what they want to do when it comes to that. Um, but the importance thereof is kind of like multifold, right? So, um, we're voting for the continued legalization of cannabis.
Yes.
um we're voting for we're voting to not have asshole elected as our Michigan governor. I think Gretchen Whitmer is doing a fantastic job so far,
Yes.
and I would rather not see her replaced by somebody that ain't even from the hood.
Ain't even from here. Like, where did you even come from? Like,
Ma'am,
who is you?
right, and what exactly do you want?
She don't want nothing but to be a GOP asset because that's really all she actually is. Because listen, she was not born, raised, or educated in Michigan whatsoever. They dropped her ass off from Indiana into Michigan about 10 so years ago. Okay. And she just woke up one day and was like, I'm going to run for governor.
Well, come
And
back
it's
and get her.
like,
Come back and get her where you dropped her off at.
please. Because, first of all, if you actually had any political knowledge or experience, why didn't you use that in Indiana where you were born and raised? Why you stepping your little monkey ass over here in Michigan trying to stir up stuff because you feel like you have the opportunity to run against a Michigan governor because you're a woman with brunette hair like her? No, no, no. We're not doing none of this bullshit. Betty DeVos or whatever her name is, sat up here and paid all these dollars out to have this woman show up here and pretend like she give a damn about Michigan. She don't even know. Bet she can't even name the lakes.
Shut up.
Bet she can't even name the lakes. Bet she can't name two Michigan-based businesses that aren't auto companies. I
That's
bet she can't name the state flag or the state animal or none of our bridges. Okay, and
well,
we
you
only
know
got
what?
two.
Do you know if she's even ever ran for office in
No,
any
I couldn't find nothing. I did a deep dive on this heifer and I couldn't find nothing saying she had ever even run for office or served in any capacity as a public service ever in her life. You hear me? She had a conservative podcast. That's all I could find. She allegedly owned a business, but for some strange reason, I can't find the name of the damn company.
what was they ain't not even acknowledging what a business was long on that or owned and
No,
operated that. Wow.
no, nothing. No name, no established date, no end date, nothing, child. No tax return, nothing. Listen, listen. It's a listen.
Why she
They
under the
playing
radar like that?
because she is nobody. She's literally a nobody. They picked her because she resembles Gretchen Whitmer and they think that, that's our type. Okay. They think that's Michigan's type. They want a woman who look like this. So let's find a woman that look like this. I don't even think that's really her brown hair. I think she dyed her hair brown. Okay. I think
Um,
I think she dyed her hair brown so that she can resemble Gretchen Whitmer a little bit. Because if I look like her, you'll forget that I'm stupid and you'll vote for me.
oh, that's her
So
publicist side. Her publicist was responsible for that, guaranteed.
dead ass. And she's supported by Trump and Betty DeVos. And she literally came from nowhere. Like, there's nothing significant about her history that will tell you, yeah, this person could be governor. Nothing.
Yeah.
She couldn't even be a meter maid. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I wouldn't let her write parking tickets. Where the hell you come from? And can you please go back?
That's crazy. There's nothing really that could be found that's solid on her because from what I know from over the years and watching many political candidates,
Hmm.
you get to find out, like, literally be able to dig deep on their history, on what they support, on who they have endorsed in the past, just a whole
Absolutely.
myriad of things.
And nope, nothing, nothing. She literally they built that bitch in a warehouse and they sent her here. She's a
Mm-mm.
robot. She's a Terminator. That's what she is.
Not a Terminator.
She's a Terminator. They built her in a warehouse and sent her here to try to destroy our democracy.
That's the whole spiel. Like, you really, Jesus, that's a storyline.
I'm just saying, like, hey,
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh man. Okay. So I don't I don't know about giving her too much airplay. I just really want to drive the importance behind why it is important for us to vote. It's not just the elections. It's not
right,
just, legalization of cannabis. It's
right,
gun reform. It's prison reform,
yes,
police reform,
yes, healthcare,
education,
infrastructure, climate change.
all of that, all of those important things that we just don't talk about enough and not bringing enough awareness to. And even with the awareness that's already out there, people really still is like, fuck it, whatever happens, happens.
And that's a bad way to look at it because a lot of people died and were imprisoned for us to even have the opportunity to vote. And not just black folks, not just black
Absolutely.
folks. Okay. Like, I like this quote from Lyndon B. Johnson. He got a couple of doozies. This is one of my favorites because it's particularly about voting. It says the vote is the most powerful instrument ever devised by man for breaking down injustice and destroying the terrible walls which imprison men because they are different from other men.
That's very powerful. Very powerful statement.
And I think that we have to stop taking our voting rights for granted because if they didn't fear us having the ability to make significant changes in society by voting, they would not work so damn hard to stop us from voting. And by them, I mean the GOP and the Republican Party, the KK Republicans, the
You know
Re-
what?
the
Is with that
Republicans with
though.
three Ks. You know what I'm
With that
saying?
though, it's so many people that not only just that though, they've shied away from voting for many years because the consensus is, it doesn't matter what my vote is because the government is going to do what they want to do anyway.
The government is the people you elect, though. They not
Very,
some, the government is not some god sitting on top of Mount Olympus making decisions. The government are the people that we elect. So if you are electing people who are not going to stand up for your own best interests, that's what you get. If you elect people who do not have any intention of keeping their promises, that's what you get. If you don't vote, you're electing whoever the hell is running, in essence, because a no vote is not the same as a no vote. Like people assume if I don't vote at all, it's not gonna make a difference. No,
No,
if
you're
you don't vote
actually
at all,
electing the opponent or people that you
right,
don't want to represent you.
you rolling the dice at that point if you don't vote at all. It's whoever the hell wins is who's gonna be there, right? And if you don't cast a vote one way or the other, you just like whoever wins is fine with me. If you don't vote, you don't get to complain about nothing because you're not part of the process that makes the decision about who is in charge of our government from top to bottom. Because a lot of people don't even think about their local elections as being important. It's like, but your local elections are highly important because don't you want to have clean water? Don't you want to have affordable utilities? As far as like water and having public transit and having the ability to even have a vote as to what goes on in your city, the people you elect for your local city government, your school board, your judges, your sheriff, your prosecutor, your governor, your secretary of state. All of those things really matter because the people in those positions are making decisions. And they're not making decisions just for themselves. They're making decisions for everybody.
You know what my answer is gonna be or end up being for people that start complaining
Hmm.
about people that got elected even though they didn't vote. You know what that's gonna be?
What?
Shut your ass up. Shut your ass up. Shut your ass up. Because if you did not appear at your local voting poll to make sure that the people got elected that were, even when you don't know, because sometimes we don't, you can only take the portrayal of the candidate until they fuck
Yes.
up, and that's the
Yes.
realism of it.
That's right.
Because you don't know these people, of course. However, you always want to make sure that you do your research also to find out who
Right.
stands for what, and whether or not what they stand for is important enough to you. And if it's important enough to you, you make sure you get to the poll so you can help to elect that person, even if it doesn't turn out that way. Because if that person doesn't win, you're not necessarily taking responsibility for that. You take a responsibility for the fact that you actually went and cast your vote so they could be
Hmm.
elected, regardless of what happens.
And it's just like with, again, using the example of local elections, you can talk to the candidates. You know what I'm saying? You can ask people. They have social media. You can ask them in person. You can meet the people running for election for different positions where you live and get to know them and know something about them. You can Google them. You can deep dive their social media. You can talk to the news media and say, hey, why you guys aren't covering this person's background more? And put
Yeah.
pressure on your local news stations to talk more about the candidates and talk to and interview the candidates. And sometimes, if you are vigilant, they might do a local debate and have these
Yeah.
people square off and allow you as citizens to submit questions that you would like to hear the answers to. You are not handcuffed in the decision making process of who gets elected in your city, state, or this country. And you got to stop acting like it because that's what white supremacists want you to believe. They want you to believe that you don't get to make any decisions, you don't have any rights, all you have is inconvenience, and you got to tolerate whatever fuck shit they put in front of you. And that's what they are the most afraid of because the right to vote is so essential that they are working 10 times overtime to make sure that you either get frustrated, complacent, angry, and just say, fuck it, I don't want to do it.
Well, in the light of COVID, um, I'm scared still of large groups of people.
Hmm.
So with that, I have every single time it came around, every single time I have not missed one. I think I missed one election season in my early 20s.
Hmm.
But every time they send, or I make sure that they send my absentee ballot, I use it
Oh
So
yeah.
that said, it's just not an excuse. You don't have to actually, um, be at the actual polling location.
No, you don't.
I
Almost
don't
every
know why
state,
people are stuck on that.
yeah.
Make sure
Almost
you
every
reach
state has
out.
ballots. Don't aren't we, this is 2022. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, the last quarter.
And from what I understand, almost every state, all 50 states, have absentee voter applications and processes. So I've actually been voting absentee before the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been voting absentee for years. Because I sometimes had a job where election day was a holiday and you got the day off. And I figured if I already voted, then I could just go to the movies on election day. Because I already done did my duty. I already done voted, so I get to, have a little reward and go see whatever is popping out in these theaters. And then also when my sons went to college, he was of voting age. Like his first election that he voted in was while he was in college. And to help him with the process of voting absentee, I was getting an absentee ballot then too. And over the phone, we would fill out our ballots together.
Yeah,
His went
you
to his
just run
college and
through
mine
it.
went to my, yeah. And we went through it together. And we still do that. Every election, we sit down together and we go over the candidates and we
Yeah.
go over our ballots and we double check each other, make sure we both signed our ballots and everything. We do it together. That's part of what we do in our household. Every election since he came home from college. And that's just what we do now. So I'm not gonna run back to stand in line either. I don't stand in line for much outside of
Right.
groceries anymore. I stood in line for groceries for the first time yesterday
You did.
since March of 2020. But mind you, it wasn't because I really wanted to. It's kind of because I had to, because something happened at Meyer and they were very short-handed, and it was faster to actually go into the store and get what I needed than wait on them to put together a pickup order.
Mm.
So for the first time ever, they didn't have they stuff together like they usually do. So I went into the store and gathered my little groceries, did the self checkout, and then left the store. But that
Well,
was
how did that
literally,
go? How did that
I
go?
mean, I mean, it was fine. I had my mask on and everything because I'm barely 90 days out of my surgery, so I'm still being mindful about not catching colds and stuff. Right now, I'm dealing with allergies from working in the yard. I don't need nothing on top of that.
Yeah, your
Um,
immune system decreases after any type of major surgery.
exactly, and I'm trying to rebuild it up. I'm still taking supplements and things of that nature, so I'm still, and making sure that I'm not catching stuff from people. I got to go get my flu shot this month. Got my COVID booster last month. I get my flu shot this month. But since literally March 2020 was the last time I had walked into a grocery store until yesterday. I hadn't been inside a grocery store, um, like a major chain, because I've been getting my groceries delivered. It's been no point. So for me, I'm all for absentee voting. I'm all for early voting. Michigan actually has a proposal on the books this year. It's right on the ballot for us to be able to have 9 days of early voting,
Mm-hmm.
additional drop box locations all over the state.
Yep.
So you're not, in a situation where you're like, I don't know where the drop boxes are, or, if it's a line at your city clerk's office, you can drop it in a drop box. And I also, this is my favorite part. If this proposal passes, everyday, regular, random ass nobodies can't request information regarding election workers.
Mm.
Therefore, they will not be able to harass people working the elections anymore.
That's good.
And they will not be able to obtain people's names and addresses or employment information or anything like that. They will not have access to that information anymore. It will have to be like a judge. You know what I'm saying? It'll have to
Right.
be for a court case or something. It'll have to be something like the state representatives, If you're not on that level, you will not be able to just ask for people's personal and confidential information because they worked on the election, and that'll help protect the elections as well because they won't be able to intimidate and harass people that work the elections when their little candidate loses, because that's what they've been doing since 2020. They have been sending Freedom of Information Act requests all over this country, and they don't even live in the states that they're asking for the information from, but they want the information on people who work the election so that they can harass them.
Not the human bot.
Child, and then it is always Republicans because Democrats don't have no reason to do that because most of their candidates won, right? The
Right.
Democratic president is the Democratic, you know, everybody is Democrat right now, higher up, and a lot of local elections elected a lot of Democrats as well. So the Republicans are very angry people. And because of white supremacy, they want to take over everything. And the only way they know how to do that is with violence and intimidation. So they have been trying to access election information. And some cities and, states have been trying to figure out a way to keep from having to give up that information without being sued. So on the Michigan ballot, it says, hey, let's put this in this proposal. And I hope that you guys vote yes on all three proposals on the state of Michigan ballot, because if you don't, you are giving the GOP artillery to harm people who are only helping with our democratic process. They're not okay, they get paid a little something. It ain't enough for them to be harassed about. It's not enough for their houses to be spray painted or them to receive death threats and all that kind of stuff. Those people don't deserve that. They're trying to make sure that our democratic process goes as smoothly as possible and that everybody's votes get counted. They don't deserve to be harassed and intimidated and bullied after the fact just because your favorite little GOP candidate didn't win.
Well,
And this is a way to stop that from occurring.
first and foremost, we don't need any more Republicans in office at
None,
this time.
none.
That's number one. Um, but should there be additional Republicans and they end up, um, out populating the running Democrats,
Hmm.
we are in a lot of fucking trouble.
Girl,
We're in a lot of trouble, man.
because it's going to be Handmaid's Tale all up and through because that's all they want.
Yeah,
They all want the same thing. They all want to turn our society into a everyday living depiction of the Handmaid's Tale. And
that's
it's not going to be fun.
that's.
I'm gonna have to go to Africa. I'm gonna have to
Listen, you gonna have to speed up your transition,
exactly. I'm gonna have to hey, fam. I'm gonna need my paperwork now.
right?
Cause see, that's the benefit to having done your DNA. I can go.
Yeah, right.
And I
Yeah,
can take my family
pull
with
the
me. I can
plug.
I can bounce.
Pull the plug quick though.
Yeah, I can be up out of here. Okay. I'll go right on back to Sierra Leone. I'll be like, hey, let's pack up, let's go.
Right.
I'll rent the house out.
You know what? One of my homeboys, Lonzo Marable, him and his family, beautiful family. I went to school with the high school with him. They are actually in Ghana right now, and that vicarious living that you do through people sometimes. When I say he's posted all of his experience, he shared it so far.
Hmm. Hmm.
Via Facebook, and just the beauty in that country.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
You know
just
who else moved
out
there?
to me. Who?
Demetria L. Lucas.
She does. She does. I
She
love when
lives in
she
Ghana.
posts. I love when she posts
Yeah.
because it's just absolutely breathtaking. But not really only just the aesthetic. What's breathtaking about her particular journey is that she's very honest
Hmm.
and transparent about the shit that goes on. She's honest and transparent about the beauty that happens as well. But it's a whole lot of what the hell moments too.
Yeah, because this a different culture. It's like even though we are of the African diaspora, you're still talking about a different culture, a different language, different slang,
Right,
even. So what some words might mean in English here, they have a whole nother word and meaning over there.
right.
So it's like, but I enjoy it. It's like she's really, because she loves the cultural experience herself. So I love that she's sharing that with us. Like she went to the museum. I can't recall the name of it right now, but it's the museum of all the heads of enslaved people, and
Okay,
it's an outdoor museum, okay, and it's a memorial pretty much for depicting all the different types of tribes of people from Africa that have been enslaved during the transatlantic slave trade. The only other time I have ever seen footage of that outside of her feed that I can think of personally was like in Samuel L. Jackson's docu-series about him finding his heritage in Benin, and all the information that he was able to gather with his team about slavery. So to see it, and I recall seeing it in his documentary and thinking like, these are our people, these are depictions of our people, because they actually do have people model for these busts that they use. So it's like every day is almost like a safari watching her life. You know what I'm saying? Like every day she going on safari.
yeah, right.
and the
It
food
is.
look good and the drinks look strong, you know, and she living her beautiful single best life, with Wi-Fi that she got to pay for and electricity she got to pay for with a refill card or whatnot.
And
So
that's
it's
crazy too. That's crazy.
but I get it though. Like I could understand that the budget, you know what I'm saying? Like the budget. Just think about that. You are really paying attention to your money. You can't,
Yeah, yeah.
because you're not just over there just balling out. You know what I'm saying? It's Africa, it's beautiful, but the way you go about getting things is vastly different.
I
And
can
I
see
think,
me missing that the expiration date, the refill, my light card or whatever, keep my electricity on, or my water, or whatnot. I can see me missing that for a minute.
I mean,
Um,
I would probably miss it a couple times too, but then you're gonna learn.
yeah, yeah, you will, yeah, you will. Like,
you go,
oh,
you go,
okay,
you
you got to
ooh,
do
well,
this so you can get. Yeah, no,
like well,
It-
damn.
it'll definitely be an adjustment for sure.
And at the same time, maybe it'll make you go outside more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it'll make you more adventurous, make you more exploratory,
Right,
because you only got enough electricity at the crib to do ABC, right?
right.
So instead of heading home and turning the lights on and turning the TV on and using the Wi-Fi, whatever, maybe you'll go out and spend time outdoors, or maybe
Yeah,
just go to the beach or something. You know what I'm saying?
or go somewhere
And
like a public place where they have complimentary Wi-Fi, so you don't have to be pulling on your own when you get to the crib.
do they
Um,
have that there though?
that I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not positive.
They may not have public Wi-Fi availability. It may be you get your own, you have to have your
We'll
own cell
see.
phone
I'm gonna
carrier,
find out.
international plan or whatever, you
Right.
know. And I even thought about like if I moved to Sierra Leone, or when I moved to Sierra Leone, I would probably have to take trips to Nigeria or Ghana cause while they building my house with indoor plumbing, because
Right.
I can't do without certain things, you know, and and it's only because I'm a creature of comfort, and I'm not
Yeah.
gonna live nowhere and not be comfortable. So it's certain things for me, like I want to make sure that I have access to certain things, but at the same time, I would be willing to see how I can go about making that access available to other people that live there.
So I just learned that there are free hotspots for Wi-Fi in Ghana.
Okay.
So those are at museums, malls, monuments, and even parks. The caveat is that they are not always secure networks.
Ah. So somebody could be like, ooh,
And audio shit gone.
all your shit gone.
Yeah. So that's the
Yeah.
caveat. But I mean, other than that, they say also in some places you might can find it on public transportation. But, you know, lots of variables.
Yeah, but it's also a simpler life. And you're not dealing with a bunch of white supremacy either. So there's always that as a bonus.
Right.
It's like the white people are the minority
Right.
all the time. And even like with Nigeria, they have made a very conscientious, I guess you would say, decision to not have any white people in their advertisements.
Oh, that's interesting.
If you ain't black, you ain't gonna be on this billboard.
Oh no, I think I lost you.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
Okay. If you're not black, you can't be on this billboard.
Mm.
And they dead ass about it.
Yeah. I
They are
mean,
dead
it
ass
is what
about
it
it.
is. It is what it is.
Yeah, what you not gonna do is be advertising to our people with your white face.
Right.
So you either are going to hire black people for your promotions marketing or it won't be seen.
Right.
And that's like a legit law. Like they not playing.
I mean, it's great to hear or great to somewhat know that they'll do things that only are inclusive to their people.
And as it should be. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? As it should be.
So I'm gonna give this stupid ass 5 minutes. But before I do that, let me preface this by saying, y'all ain't about to get them Kyrie eights. Y'all ain't about to get them. They not about to go into production. None of that. None of that. The best you can do is go ahead and order you like a mold or something from wish.com. It'll be to your ass by summer of next year, but you'll have them. Go to take the boys and a bowl and customize you a shoe and repeat that shit for 6 seasons. I'm gonna leave it there. But since we gonna talk about it because we committed to talking about it. But this is like not gonna give him that much time. Kyrie Irving um must complete 6 items on the Brooklyn Nets.
In order to play again.
Has to do, right? So the first thing is to apologize and condemn the movie. We're gonna tell y'all that
Right.
movie in a minute. Um, he needs a $500,000 donation to an anti-hate cause or cause.
Right.
I don't know what happened. The devil be busy. But
You left off with number two.
yeah, okay. Number two, and then number three is sensitivity training. What's unclear is who's facilitating that.
That. Right.
So it could be the organization in and of itself where they have went on and hired someone to come in and facilitate that type of training.
Okay.
Um, Anti-Semitic training, again, not known where that facilitates from. He has to meet with the ADL and Jewish leaders, and he has to meet with the owner, Joe Tsai, to demonstrate understanding. That was interesting for me because I mean, what you're gonna have his ass do? You got to come with a
Take a
PowerPoint.
test. You gotta take a test.
Not a test.
You gotta take a test.
Listen, I don't know. I can't call it. I don't have no skin in this game. But what I can say is they ain't playing with y'all ass. Don't you
No
get
more.
they're not playing at all. And it's just like, they sign off. I forget. I talked about this earlier, but they sign off on, let's use Nike for an example.
Right.
They sign off on these sponsorships and partnerships and la da 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 da, and all they see is the dollar sign, and
Mm-hmm.
they have the deficit that many of you motherfuckers have, which is not reading thoroughly before you put your signature on something.
And almost every contract for every major brand or business nowadays has a morals clause in it.
See, the thing y'all don't know, and well, but the thing that you should know, right? Because I have never, ever, 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 ever signed my name to something that I didn't read in full.
Right.
So I can't give,
And got a copy of it.
and got a copy. And listen, I need a paper copy and a PDF. I've CC'd myself on the email. Look, but people always want to scream about the lack of knowledge. No, it's the lack of execution of knowledge. And if you can read to any degree, even as if you're smarter than a fifth grader in some instances, if
Mm-hmm.
you can read to any degree, you need to be reading everything. But people really is so quick to be like, okay, swipe, swipe, okay, here you go, gone, gone.
Yeah, because they want the money, but they don't want the responsibilities that come along with that money. And then when they do something stupid, they looking like, oh, I can't do that. And I'm just gonna say this. I'm sitting in two chairs on this topic. Okay, in chair one, I don't give a fuck about what's going on with Kyrie Irving. That is rich nigga problems. Okay,
It is. Hmm.
he brought that shit on himself. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Whatever happens, happens. They might have been already trying to look for reasons to get rid of his ass because of whatever other problematic shit he got going on. Because at the end of the day, this here is a rich nigga who at 2022, at his big age, still thinks the earth is flat.
Well,
He has been on airplanes. He has traveled around the world and he still thinks that the earth is flat. We got a round sun, we got a round moon, we got round stars, but this Negro at his big age in 2022, with all the money he got and all the airplanes he done been on, thinks that out of all these round things in the universe, the earth is the only thing that's flat. So there's that part of me sitting in that chair over there that's like, fuck that nigga.
right,
Then on the other side, I'm in another chair and I'm like, this is a little excessive due to the fact that he did not write the book, he did not write the movie, he did not produce the movie, he did not donate for the movie. He literally just watched the movie on Amazon Prime. Mind you, back in the first chair, it's because that nigga think the earth is flat. So his Amazon Prime recommendations are a whole bunch of conspiracy theory filled bullshit. But
right,
back in chair number two, it's like it was already on there. He would have never been able to watch it if it didn't already exist, right?
right.
And it's not a new movie. It didn't come out in 2022. But then it's also back to chair number one. Why would he agree with the things that are said in that movie unless he already felt that kind of way to begin with?
Well, that's the point right there. That's the actual point right there. He ain't said nothing that don't nobody else believe no way. He ain't said nothing that don't nobody else talk about anyway in their private conversations. So now they're getting to the point where they're making them more public, making their opinions more public, and not even thinking about the consequences that come with that. Free speech ain't damn free.
But then I'm back in chair number two and I'm like, you got to be a real weak minded individual at your big age with all that damn money you got not to know that the Black Hebrew Israelites are a fucking cult. Any content from them is going to be full of shit. They are the Black version of the Klan.
But you don't see no large percentage of smart athletes.
But they are there, though. They are
There's a
there.
percentage. They're there.
They
They're
are there.
but
And I
they're
understand that that's not a requirement for them to do the job that they perform. However, nigga, at your big age, in the year 2022, you have the belief system of an uneducated, broke, hotep ass nigga.
they don't care nothing about that. They care more about having the same Cuban link that every other athlete got on, going to the club, groping their groupies.
And this is what it gets you. Again, back in chair number two, I think the requirements that they have are a little excessive, and this is why. It is not going to change his belief system.
Why?
Doing any of those things is not going to change his fucking mind or his heart. What he believes is anti Semitic rhetoric that upholds white supremacy. Okay? That's what he believes. That's what all Black Hebrew Israelites believe. They all believe that. Having him pay a fine and do a class and have a meeting, none of that shit is going to change his heart or his mind or his belief system at all. If
He'll
he
do
were to
it.
comply, he's only doing it as a way of, okay, I'm going to do it to get you to leave me alone. But it's not going to change anything about him. This nigga thinks the earth is flat.
He gonna do it. He gonna follow the list. That's my.
No, I don't think he is. I think he's going to take an early retirement and get the fuck on.
You
Because they
think
might have
so?
already been, yeah, I think they might have been already looking for something to get rid of his ass anyway, because his ass was probably in the locker room talking about the earth was flat.
But but listen though. But the reason I feel like that he'll take it because there's been no talk of retirement to my recollection on his.
Yeah, yeah.
So
He
because of
has.
it, it has to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if
It's an
he'll let him.
option.
I don't know if he'll let him take him out like that. I think he'll do the list long enough to get back in so he can get traded and then retire.
Nah, because ain't nobody about to pick up no problematic nigga who thinks the earth is flat. I'm
Is
telling
he
you.
canceled? In your opinion, you think he canceled?
I don't think he's canceled. I think again, he opened his mouth. He said, well, he opened his Twitter and he said some dumb shit on Elon Musk's Twitter because everybody think because it's Elon Musk's Twitter, you can just say whatever the fuck you want to say now.
Right.
And he fucked up. But I don't agree with them asking him to do those things because it's not going to change his heart or his mind or his belief system. And at the end of the day, they're turning his ass into a martyr. Because when
Mm,
you open your mouth or you open your Twitter and you fuck yourself, you did it to yourself.
right.
You said that dumb shit. You shared that dumb shit. You agreed with that dumb shit, right? But when you have half the country now on your head, now you're a victim and you're a martyr. It's like, oh, why are you doing this to Kyrie? Now it becomes what's happening to Kyrie instead of what Kyrie did to his fucking self. That's what I have a problem with. Kyrie don't deserve to be no fucking martyr. He is not no leader, ain't never been no leader. The nigga think the earth is flat.
You stupid.
And any nigga that think the earth is flat and he done been on airplanes, looked at the sky, done seen the sun, the moon, and the stars
Several
is
times over.
problematic. Several
Yeah.
times over. Like he done had the opportunity to go places that a lot of people will never go on this earth. And he thinks it's flat. He done seen the curvature of the fucking horizon and he thought it was a straight line. What? I don't feel sorry for him. I just don't think that the solution that they're presenting is going to work the way they think it's going to work, because it's not going to change him as a person. It's not going to change his thoughts, his feelings, his belief system, none of that shit. And at the end of the day, the problem is the film and the movie. But because we have freedom of speech, people can write whatever the fuck they want to write, and they can publish whatever the fuck they want to publish. How it ended up in Kyrie's queue, I don't know, because the nigga think the earth is flat. So I don't know what other content he is watching on Amazon Prime that made that one show up for him to watch it. And he sat there like, yeah, 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 this makes sense. This makes sense. But I will say this: Kyrie is the typical nigga who has no identity, no heritage, and no link to his culture. Therefore, he is easily influenced to believe that he is something that he is probably not. When we were kidnapped and abducted and brought to this country, one of the things that occurred was that our languages were stripped from us because they intentionally mixed up the tribes so we couldn't talk to each other. And those of us blessed enough to still have people in our line of lineage who we descend from that held on to our culture and passed it down. But it's not a whole lot of us that know where we from.
Right.
Black Americans, a lot of us don't know where the fuck we from. A lot of us don't want to know because we want to identify as what we think white people aspire to have or think is powerful or elite or superior. And that's what Black Hebrew Israelites are all about. The only reason these motherfuckers all think they Jews and the original Jews is because they think that being Jewish is the most important thing you can be on the planet. That's the only reason they like it. That's the only reason they want it. That's the only reason they do what they do and lie like they lie to say that this is what we are. I am not a Hebrew. I'm going to go on record and I'm going to say it because it's facts and I can prove it with scientific documentation and DNA. I am not a Hebrew. A Black Hebrew Israelite could never confront me and tell me, sister, you know you one of the original Jews. Nigga, get the fuck out of my face. You don't go sit your monkey ass down. I am a descendant of a West African, Sierra Leone enslaved person that was kidnapped and brought to this country, to South Carolina, and then sold into West Virginia. Don't tell me what you think I should be. My people are not Jewish. I know my people are not Jewish because I've taken the time and I've listened to my ancestors and I've had conversations with the people that came before me. So I know what my heritage and my culture is. And I've taken a test to verify shit. Kyrie is too fucking rich not to know what his DNA actually is. He could have access to all the damn DNA tests, but he would rather believe that he is an original Jew because he has no actual connection or anything to his actual birthright. So he wants to cling on to something. That's what these niggas are doing. They want to cling on to what they think is the most superior. And it's not, it's stupid. It's very stupid. And I actually got a quote from somebody that I think, and he actually gave me permission to quote him on our podcast tonight because
Okay.
he really said some deep shit, right? His name is Charles Small.
Okay.
He said, I think these folks are going from an inferiority complex all the way to a superiority complex. People want to take what they feel is important and claim it, all while ignoring or disregarding everything else. Many of us have quite complex ancestry. While the attempt seems to seek to go beyond the slave trade, some of us have no ancestry rooted in the transatlantic slave trade, some different parts of it, some even with ancestry on opposing sides of it, which can present its own conflict, all of which to varying degrees. In trying to present a foundation of greatness or whatever, to possibly establish that of the present and future as a result, these people seem to reduce such a varied and complex group of people into a singularity, which seems to contradict the whole thing. As African descendants, sis, he is speaking to me, and I
Yeah.
agree 100%. Because at the end of the day, the continent of Africa, with all of its countries, all of them are not practicing Judaism. All of them do not practice Christianity. All of them do not practice Islam. Every culture within a culture has different religious backgrounds. You can say, okay, well, Jesus was a Hebrew. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we can all pretty much agree to that. His DNA was even tested. Okay? His DNA was tested. It's documentation and scientific documentation and historical documentation all over the place. Says Jesus was Hebrew.
I think we
I am
need
not a
more.
direct descendant of Jesus, though. I'm
I
not.
I
I'm
think
not.
we need a part two of what the hell is going on to dive deeper into that. Because outside of Mr. Kyrie's stupidity, then lots of people don't understand not only their heritage, but really don't have the desire to look for whatever reasons they don't.
And they could easily find it because although documentation has been skewed and destroyed and all kinds of stuff, you can find something. You can find something about your heritage if you look. There are still libraries. There are DNA tests that are available. There are museums. There are people in your family. If people would talk to their elders before their elders get so old and have dementia and Alzheimer's, like have a conversation. Somebody in your family knows something.
Girl, if it's like mine, it's a whole bunch of secrets because it was a whole bunch of last names, and the sister slept with the uncle type of girl. So I feel like I got a bunch of trees and a bunch of
Okay?
mysteries.
And that's possible, but you got two strands of DNA,
Yeah,
and that can narrow that shit down for you fast.
I definitely already started the process. Let's be clear. So I'm interested to see actually what it turns out to be. But in that, or one thing for sure and two things for certain, you have the ability to find out anything you want to find out about your lineage.
Yes.
That's period. So don't say, well, I didn't know. Yes, you do.
Because if you can watch a Hebrew, a Black Hebrew Israelite documentary telling you how the Jewish people are your enemy when they're really not, because Jewish people have fought alongside Black people more than once throughout history, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Just like Asian people have. And if you don't understand that the reason why it's anti Semitic is because it's upholding white supremacy rhetoric and it's telling you to make this group of people your enemy so that you won't actually be paying attention to what your real oppressor is out here doing.
Right.
That's white supremacy rhetoric. Anything that distracts you from paying attention to your actual oppressor by turning your attention towards somebody who's not your enemy. And at the end of the day, if you can find that fuck shit on Amazon Prime, you can also find documentaries that tell you about your possible actual lineage. You can find the documentaries about enslaved people who traced their history forwards and backwards and passed it down to the generations that are still living. And those people have now taken this information and researched it even more fully. You can find the information to know what part of Africa you may be from. Let me tell you something. You can look at people. Like if you pay attention, if you look at people from Africa and look at yourself, you can start to look at the different examples of tribes people from different parts of Africa, and you can find somebody that look just like you, same facial features. And I promise you, you probably share your DNA with that person because our features go through our DNA. I looked at a man and to kind of shift a little bit to Wakanda Forever. Did you see the ABC special that they did, sis?
I did not.
You can watch it on Hulu, honey.
Okay.
Okay, so they did a whole Wakanda Forever special for the movie that's opening because it's opening this Friday in theaters all across the country, right? 11/11. Dig that. It opens on 11/11.
We in almost mid-November already.
Yes.
Oof.
But 11/11, that angel number, okay? So that's why they picked that date.
Okay.
If you watch the documentary, I'm going to tell you there now, there's a musician in the documentary. He is responsible for the theme song that you hear in the first movie when Nakia and T'Challa are on the ship with Okoye and they're going back to Wakanda after Nakia freed all the people from Nigeria, and T'Challa helped her accomplish that because it was really he was supposed to be on a rescue mission, but she was really on a rescue mission.
Right,
So
got it.
that scene where they're going through the barrier into Wakanda, that music, okay, the gentleman responsible for that music, when you see him in the documentary, he looked like one particular person I could think of off the top of my head, and that was Leslie Jones from Saturday Night Live.
Oh wow.
He could dead ass be her brother, okay?
It
And
might be.
yes, and like when Samuel L. Jackson was doing his docu-series about his own descendancy, you could see the way he walks and his features are that of the people of Benin.
Okay.
I look like the people from Sierra Leone. I dead ass do. I absolutely do. Body type. We're tall people. Most of us are tall people. There's a few short people too, but we are tall people. Our body type is almost all the same. Same exact nose on every dang on face. Every picture I've seen of a person from Sierra Leone, I can find a part of my features in their face or their whole face. They look like they could be my brother or sister.
Oh wow.
So it's very possible for us to trace ourselves back to where we originate from without Black Hebrew Israelites lying to us and telling us all we all Jews. It's impossible for us all to be all Jews. If you are a descendant of anyone from Africa, whether you are African American, African, Afro Latina, Afro Brazilian, Afro Spanish, it doesn't matter. If you have any descendancy from Africa whatsoever, it's impossible for all of us to be Jewish. Impossible. The continent has how many countries? What are you saying? All those countries do not practice Judaism.
That's a topic for another time. Y'all going to see Wakanda?
I don't know. Cause see, we got Disney Plus and we
Y'all
got a
want to go see it?
theory.
Y'all want to go see it?
No, we want to see it. We want to see it, but we both still have a little public anxiety. Okay. Like I said, I just went to the grocery store for the first time since 2020 now. Okay.
Right, right.
Um, and we was in there like, oh shit. So it's not that we don't want to support. It's that we already paid for Disney Plus and we had this big ass TV and we have all the snacks and stuff we want. And we kind of have gotten in the habit of enjoying the comfort of watching
From
TVs and
home.
movies at home in
Right.
a quiet atmosphere where nobody's saying nothing but us. You know what I'm saying? And it's
And
gotten
it's a
real
controlled
comfortable.
environment.
Right. It's very peaceful and comfortable. If I want to cry, I got tissue right here. You know what I'm saying? It's like I could be in my pajamas. I don't have to get dressed and do my hair to leave the house. And Disney has been very good about not having their content sit out for a long time. So, because we know going into 2023, Disney has like a gazillion things that are going to be on their platform, we're thinking that before February of 2023 or in February of 2023, Black Panther will be on Disney Plus. And the reason why that is our theory is because February is Black History Month. It's a little bit, it's about 90 days out from when the movie opens. They're going to let the movie stay in theaters as long as it's doing well. But I got a feeling that by February, it will be on Disney Plus
Okay.
and we'll be able to watch it in the comfort of our own home because they want to put it out there before um, Ant Man, the next Ant
Right.
Man movie. They want to put it out there. They don't want it to bump up against things like the new Santa Claus movie, which is going to be on Disney Plus in November.
Hmm.
So they have a method to their madness on Disney Plus, and there's a little bit of a pattern if you pay attention.
So you're just gonna wait it out a little bit.
Yeah, we watched Black Widow, Thor. We watched all that at home. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so I might let the rest of the world have their fun. Disney still gonna get my money though.
Right.
They still gonna get my money.
I mean, because while you're waiting, though, it's just a lot. Those there are lots of other things to enjoy.
Hmm. And I've learned to be very patient. And patience has been very pay it has really been paying off for me financially.
Okay.
All right. So, been letting been chilling.
All right. So we gonna end here. We are going to catch off for another episode. We're absolutely going to be more frequent because it's just this system right here that's set up. Oh my god, I love it so much. Um
Yep.
and you don't have to really do too much of anything, and we always can make sure we put out great content. Make sure that you are following us on Instagram. I am L Rogers Global. And my sister here, Miss Angela T. Jones, she could be found on Instagram at official
Official.
underscore
Yeah.
miss underscore Jones.
And
And
I am AKA I am not Jewish.
I would love to see that in the bio, man. Like for real.
Okay. I'm gonna put it in there. I'm
All
not
right,
Jewish.
now. Until next time, y'all. We'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Peace.